everybody, welcome back to my channel and to another video. In this video today we're going to be making some magnetic bookmarks, and I'm going to show you one that I've made already. This is one that says the book was better, and as you can see it creates a lovely place in my book. It doesn't damage the book at all, and it's magnetic so I can take it off when I want to, and if I was to read all the way to here I could just pop it back on that page, close up my book, and then I know where I am. They're also good if you are a student. You could make some of these to mark pages in your textbooks and things like that. They're quite sturdy, and these ones I've put some tech wrap laminate onto, so they've got a really nice sparkly finish to them. So without any further ado, let's jump into the video. Here we are then in Cricut Design Space, and as you can see on the screen there are 3 bookmarks that I have already made, 2 of them which I've shown you and the other one I actually gave away as a gift to somebody. This particular project will be available on my profile, so you can use these ones if you want to, plus the one that we are going to make in today's video together. If you don't know how to find a project through someone's profile, or how to find a profile at all, I will link a really short and easy to follow video down below in the description for you, and up above in the corner if you are working on a computer, so you'll be able to pick that up and follow that and then find this project. So first things that I'm going to do then is just show you how these are made. So you can see I've got an image on here. For example, Hot Girls Read Books, and that is an image that I've gotten from Cricut Design Space. Now you could get one from Design Space, you could get it from Creative Fabrica, you could get it from anywhere you like, upload it yourself, whatever you want to do. So today I am going to get an image from Creative Fabrica. So let's just hide all of these, and then I'm going to nip over to Creative Fabrica, and the images that I have found are these animals reading books, and I think they're so cute. I like this cat with his little book in his armchair, so that's the one I think I'm going to make today with you. I'm going to download this from Creative Fabrica. You can find the link to these images and others down below in my description as well. And let's just wait for this to download. Okay, that's done. Let's just open that file up. So we've got all the different animals. Oh, the tiger's cute, isn't he? There's the cat. There's a elephant. They're all really cute. Oh my gosh, which one to go for? Well, I think I'm going to do the cat because that was the one that I said originally. So he is 2 PNG. So let's go back into Design Space. What we want to do then is click on Upload here. And we're going to upload that image and click on Browse. I'll click on that one again, and then there is the cat, so we'll just double click on him, then click on Continue. So as you can see, because this is a PNG file, it doesn't have any background or anything with it, so it's a pretty good one to use for this. We don't need to remove any of the background or anything like that. Let's click on Apply and Continue. And now we need to choose which type of image we want. So obviously, because I'm going to be printing this out, I just need it to be a flat graphic. So I'm just going to click on Flat Graphic, make sure I've got that green box around the outside, and click on Continue. That's ready. Now let's just give him a name. So I will call him Cat Reading, and then I will click on Upload. Unfortunately, because this is an uploaded image, you won't be able to use this project when you go through to my shared project, because unfortunately Design Space will only let you use images which have been taken from Cricut Access or from any sort of Cricut format. So this one unfortunately will not be in there, but if you want to use this image, as I said, I will pop a link down below to Creative Fabrica. They've always got some really brilliant offers on. and I've been a member over there now for over 12 months, and I've used so many fonts and images and stuff like that, it's absolutely impossible not to find something on there that you're going to be able to use. So as you can see, it's a massive image that's come into here. We've got the warning exclamation mark there, which is basically going to say the image is too large. That's absolutely fine, we're not worried about that. Let's shrink it down a little bit. So there we go, he's coming in there. Look how cute he is. Okay, so what I'm going to do is leave him at about 15 centimetres. So let's just change that to 15. So he's pretty big. First thing then that we're going to do is give this cat an offset. So what we want to do is come up here to offset, and we want to make it probably about 3.5 millimeters. That looks good to me. I'm going to click on apply, and it always makes it black or grey, so that is the colour that is on there for now. What I'm going to do is turn that into a basic cut, and it will switch it over to grey. The reason that I've changed it over to a basic cut is because I want to get rid of all these bits here that are going to cut out, because I want my bookmark to be one whole solid picture. And if I'd have left it as it was before, with it being the offset print then cut, it won't allow me to contour those away, because contour is greyed out. So if I change that to basic, you can see now that contour has become available to use. So what I can do is make sure I've got that particular layer selected and it's green, then come down to contour, and you can either click on each one individually, or you can just click on hide all contours, and that will fill in those spaces. So as you can see now, that is all filled in, but we don't really want it to be grey for this cat's offset. So let's go up to the colour swatches and change that to white, because I think that looks a lot better. What we need to do is just select everything. So we've got those two layers selected on the layers panel, so they're both green. We're going to come down now, and we're going to turn this into a print then cut. So we are going to click on flatten. So now you can see there is no black outline around our cat's offset image, and that is because we have turned it into a flattened print then cut image. What we want to do now then is shrink our image down to the size roughly that we would like our cat to be for our bookmark. So I normally go for around 5 centimeters ish. I might make this one 5.5, I think. And there is no set rule when I'm doing this as to what size I make my bookmarks. I tend to have a ruler on my desk, and I just sort of refer to it just to see rough sizes. So this one is going to be a pretty decent sized one. We're going to come up here now to duplicate. So we've got 2 cats on the screen, and this one is going to be our top one. So what we want to do is come up to rotate, and we want to delete that 0 and turn it into a 180. And now there is our cat. The next thing that we want to do is duplicate our cat again, and we want to unflatten, and we want to delete that cat off of the top, so we've just got that image there. And this is what we're going to use for cutting out our magnetic pieces. So we're going to duplicate again, and then again we are going to flip that round 180, and that is the backing for that one. The next thing that we need to do is get our cats so they are aligned, and what we want to do now is put our rectangle down the centre to make our bookmark so that we can fold it over. So you can go to the basic shapes menu, just grab yourself a square, and then what you'll want to do is unlock the padlock at the top here. And what I like to do is just by eye, I like to roughly get my sizing like so. So I'm quite happy with that. That's 2.33 centimeters. You don't need to worry too much about the length on it, because we're going to put all this together anyway. So let's now make that white, and I am now going to click on it again so it's selected, and I'm going to come up to the top here to arrange, and I'm going to click on send to back. So ordinarily what I would do now is center all this horizontally, but that won't work with this design because our cat is a little bit over to the right and he's got his books and his cup of tea on the left. So if we were to do that, it's going to throw the design out a little bit. Let me show you what I mean. So if I select all of those and then center horizontally, you can see we can see the corner of our joining rectangle, and we don't want that to be the case. So I am just going to keep it so that my cat's ears are on that centerpiece just there, and I think that will be absolutely fine. What I'm going to do next is select my 3 layers, so my 2 cats and my rectangle, and I am going to hit flatten again, and that is going to flatten the whole piece. And then what's going to happen when we go through to print is it's going to print this whole thing ready for us. So I'm happy with how that looks. I am relatively happy with the size. It's going to be quite big on the width, I think, so I might make it a little bit smaller, but if I'm going to do that, I must make sure that I do the same with my pieces that I'm going to use for my magnetic pieces. So I need to make sure I've got everything selected before I start messing with the sizes, otherwise I'm going to have to go through the process of undoing everything that I've done and putting it back to how it was. So let me just shrink it ever so slightly. Let's put it down to about 12.5-ish, that'll do. Okay, so that's better. He's basically 6 centimetres now, which is all good. The last thing I want to do is put a score line across here. So if we come again to the basic shapes menu, and then you've got this line at the top, let's put that on the screen. We're just going to flip that again using rotate 90 degrees. And then I just want to make it so that it's the width of there, which is probably about 2.5 centimetres. Oops, that's 205. That's no good, is it? Now, that is there. It's roughly 2.5 centimetres. It was a pretty good guess. We are going to select everything and we're going to just centre, so make sure that is there. Now that that is on there, what we want to do again is select the cat and the score line, come down to the bottom and just hit attach. So that is ready to go now. So what I'm going to do is just make sure that everything is on there correctly. That is going to go there. That is going to go there. All right, let's click on make. Now we've come through to the make it screen. As you can see, we have got our bookmark on here. Now you can't see where it's going to cut because obviously the white offset is the same colour as the page, but you can see from that black box around it that that is the line where our borders are going to be. So we don't need to change any of our material sizes or anything like that. Let's click on continue. Now we need to send it to the printer. So I'm going to click on send to printer, and then I'm going to click on next with this. At the moment it is choosing my label printer to print on, so I need to make sure I'm printing with the correct one. So I do have 3 printers. I am going to choose my Epson ET2710, and then I'm going to turn the bleed off with this one because I don't need it. It's a white edge, so it makes no difference at all. And then I'm going to click on use system dialog. Now the reason that I'm using my system dialog is to make sure that I can change the settings for my paper that I'm going to use. I'm going to click on print, and then the system dialog box will come up. There it is. So now all I need to do is change my settings on here. So I come down to printer options for mine, and then I go to print settings, and then at the moment it's got plain paper in there, which would be just your normal copier paper. So I'm going to change that to be Epson matte, and then I'm going to pop a piece of 300 GSM white cardstock into my printer and print this out, and then we're going to be ready to cut it and put everything together. Here is my bookmark then, all printed out and ready on the cardstock. So what we need to do now, this is an optional thing really, you don't have to do this, but what I'm going to do is pop some of this tech wrap laminate over the top, and this I think was £15. You get 28 sheets, and it gives your bookmarks that really nice sparkly finish. You can see the little stars just on there, and this was from Amazon, so I'll link it down below for you. But there are several, oh look, I didn't even notice there was a squeegee in there. So we've got several different types of finish. So we've got just the normal holographic, there is this one that looks a bit like shattered glass. Then we've got the dotty one, which I really quite like, and then we've got the stars as well, which are lovely. So I think what I may use for this one is the rest of that sheet of the dotty one. No, which one did I use? The stars. Where's that other sheet? It's still in the box. So I'm going to use the rest of this to finish off that sheet. This stuff's really easy to use. It is very, very sticky though, so you've got to make sure you've got it in the right place. So let's just pop that down there and pop it to one side. It's important when you're using this stuff, or any type of laminate really, if you're just going to put a clear laminate over the top, you could do that as well, but it's important to make sure that your laminate does not cover your registration marks that your Cricut has made. And something that I've noticed recently with the Print Then Cut, the registration marks have changed, and in the corner that is the top, you've now got this little triangle, and I don't know whether that's to show us that that's the top left corner, or whether it's just something that they've decided to pop on there or what, but it could be quite handy. So this is going to be big enough, I think, if I go for cutting it around there. So this stuff's great because it's got a grid on the back as well, so you don't need to worry too much about measuring and stuff. So I think I'm going to go for that line there. Let's just cut that. And then that's going to go onto there. Now what I'm going to do is just peel back my corner slightly. And I want to pop that, make sure there's nothing on it, so it's nice and clean. And what I do is just pop it on there, just making sure that I'm avoiding those registration marks. And then I just use my squeegee and just push my squeegee along till the end there, and then that makes sure that there's no air bubbles or anything in that. As you can see, it looks fabulous already. This is going to be a really nice one for Halloween actually, I think. Now I'm using a standard grip mat for this piece. So what I want to do is just pop that onto there, and I am going to use my brayer just to make sure that it's really nicely stuck down onto my mat. If you have got any doubt about whether your mat is sticky enough, you could pop some bits of masking tape. I just keep my masking tape in a tape dispenser just on the side of my desk, so if I'm a bit concerned that it's not going to stick, I can always add those bits on. Let's jump back into Design Space now and make sure that we've got all our settings correct. Alright then, here we are in Design Space again. Just turn my light off because it's blinding me looking at the screen. Okay, so I need to select my maker because I've got a couple, so I need to make sure I get the correct one. I'm using the USB one today. I am using a Cricut Maker. This is the original Maker, not the newest Maker 3. I've had these Cricuts now for about 5 years and they still work absolutely perfectly, touch wood. Hopefully they're not going to mess up now. So what I'm going to do is choose my base material. I am going to go for, I think I'm going to go poster board. Now the reason I'm going poster board is because my cardstock's pretty thick, but I've also added another layer to it, haven't I, with my laminate, so I want to make sure it cuts through. So now the next thing to do is make sure we've got all our tools and materials ready. So it's telling me to use the double scoring wheel. Now I don't want to use that. I want to use my scoring stylus. So I'm going to change that to that tool and click apply. And then I am going to be using the fine point blade, which is already in my machine. So let's head over to the machine now and get this cut out. It is a very sunny day here, as you can see. So my Cricut is lit up on the one side. Now this may cause a problem with the Print Then Cut, because what happens when you are doing a Print Then Cut, if you're not familiar with it, there's a very small light sensor on this Cricut machine here on the carriage, and if there is light coming in from a window or from a light source above your machine or whatever, sometimes it does make it so that the machine struggles to read these registration marks which we've got here. So I'm going to put it in and see what it does. It may not work, but if it doesn't, we'll just close the curtains and do it again. So I've just popped that in. The scoring stylus is in. The fine point blade is in. Let's hit go and see what happens. So first of all, the machine is going to scan those registration marks and see where they are. So hopefully it's going to be able to find them. There's only a bit of light over this right hand side one, so hopefully it will be all good. The cut has now finished, and before I actually eject my mat, I'm going to check that the cut has been successful. So I'm just going to lift this up and just make sure that I've got that hole there, and I have. It's all good. Let's eject that mat now and get the next section done. You are going to notice that I've made a mistake here. I have got these two pieces already cut out, and they are supposed to be my magnetic pieces. So if we go back into Design Space, on the screen you can see that my two offset pieces should have actually been a basic cut, and they are set as print then cuts. So what I should have done beforehand was just selected both of those, come up here to operation type and change them into the basic cut. And the reason that I didn't notice them when we went through to make it was, like I said to you at the start, because the outline of this was white and also those two pieces were also white, it didn't come up with two mats, and I don't know why it didn't dawn on me at the time, but they needed to be on a separate mat ready to cut. But it doesn't matter, we can cut those out now. So let's just take this off the mat. There he is, my little cat, he looks so cute. So we've got our score line down the centre. It just makes it quite easy to fold it over. You don't have to use that if you don't want to, if you're quite happy to just fold that in half. But look how cute he looks already, and we haven't even got our magnetic pieces on yet. So let's get those done for our next job. Next up then is putting the magnetic portions on the back of the bookmark. So this is the magnetic sheet that I'm using. It's actually from our local wholesaler where I get the balloons and stuff from, and it is this brand. I have used another one before, but I can't find it in the craft room. It's in here somewhere. So I'd bought this one just to try with these magnets, because I'd used another different one when I'm making them for in the shop, but I thought I'd give this one a go. And this one is self-adhesive on one of the sides, so it does mean that we need to make sure that we do a little bit of jiggery pokery when we are cutting it. So I've got a strong grip mat. I want to make sure that it's held down really well. I've used this one a couple of times, but it's still very, very sticky. So I am going to just put this piece of magnetic board right up into that corner. Because this is an off-brand mat, I am going to overlap it ever so slightly at the top. I'm going to use my brayer again just to give it a really good press down. Because this is self-adhesive on one side, it's basically like we're using a HTV. So what we need to do is make sure that we mirror this on the screen. So this is what we've got at the moment. We're going to come across here to this toggle and click on mirror, and then I'm going to go through to continue. Okay, so I do need to make sure that I pick the correct setting to cut on. So I'm going to go to browse all materials, and I'm just going to type in magnet and hit enter. There are three options: magnetic sheet with a thickness of 0.5 millimeters, then magnetic sheet with a thickness of 0.6, and then printable magnetic sheet. Now, I've checked out the material settings and the cut settings for all of these, and when I looked at them, the printable magnetic sheet must be quite thin. So that is a Cricut product depicted by this C here, and that only does one pass. Now, I know it won't cut through this on one pass, so the 0.5 mil does two passes and uses the fine point blade, and the 0.6 millimeter one uses the deep point blade and does 6 passes. So that's the one I'm going to use because this is pretty thick magnetic sheet. I need to make sure that my mirror is still on. I'm happy with that. I'm going to pop this into the machine now and get it cut out. just before I start putting this into the machine, if your star wheels, which are these little blighters here, are along your bar here, you'll need to move them before you put your magnetic sheet into your machine, because if they're left on there, because it's quite a thick material, it will probably touch those star wheels and then you'll end up with little dinks in your magnetic sheet. So it's important just to slide those out the way. So they do literally just slide along the bar. They can be a bit stiff, but they do move, and then you can just push them out the way. I've got one this end and then the other 3 are over on this side. Again, before we pull this out, we want to just check that it's done, but because what I've found is that with this extra layer of paper on the back, sometimes it doesn't go through the paper but it's gone through the magnet. So let's just check, but it looks like it's actually done it pretty well this time. So that's all good. I'm going to eject that mat and now we can stick them on, finish off our bookmark. Right then, let's do the fun part. So we just need to take this off here. As you can see, it's cut through really well. Yesterday when I was making some of the others, it didn't cut through that paper portion, so I did just have to sort of pop them out. Now then, let's do this. So I am going to be sticking these on this way around and that way around. As you can see, it's perfect because we remembered to mirror. Let's just peel this off. If you haven't got sticky backed magnetic sheets, what you can do is just glue it on with your favourite glue. So you just need to make sure that you line it up as well as you can, just so that we don't have any black from that overlapping onto our bookmark. There we go. Quite heavy now that the magnetic sheet is on there. He looks really good. There we go. So now he's ready to go into a book to save the place. I haven't started this book yet, so I don't know whether it's any good. Let's put him on a page and see how he comes out. Just look at that, it's fantastic. He looks amazing. I'm so pleased with how he's turned out. I hope that you've enjoyed this video and that you found it to be useful. If you have, don't forget to subscribe. Drop me any questions or comments that you've got down below and I will always try to answer them where I can. I hope to see you again for another video really soon. Take care, bye!